They announced it, man. A Kinect-less Xbox One will be available on June 9th, before E3. So it's pretty much like I said, an One without the Kinect, which is $399. So now the starting price for that console is the same as a PlayStation 4. So Anthony, we kind of touched upon this last week. We kind of raised that question. Would Microsoft do it? And funny enough, they did do it. I think you said that they would not do it. So what do you think of this news now?
And I think they spend too much time on NeoGaf, man. Like that's what it is. I think it was, personally, I think it's a GIMP version of the Xbox. I would have rather they keep the Kinect in and then put the price at $399.
Yeah, do an actual price drop instead of just taking a piece out of it.
Yeah, like I would have rather that, man. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, more people are going to get a chance to play and buy Xbox One, and I think it's important now that they got E3 around the corner to show some of the new games. So it is what it is.
I mean, I think it's a great way to keep themselves competitive, against PlayStation 4 to add, hey, here's the starting price of $399, but if you want to connect, buy the $400 version. Which is, I'm not sure if they're actually doing that. If they're just selling it, Kinect-less, all of them, or is there like two different SKUs now? I'm not entirely sure. But Charles, what do you think? I mean, you mentioned that they should have probably done a price cut altogether.
Yeah, it's really, you're taking the bread and butter out of your console. The Kinect was the differentiator between them, and taking that away is like they've been backstepping since the last E3, and this isn't really helping their case. So, true, it's a better entry point for people that want the console, but what's the selling point at that point? And I see somebody is definitely showing that they are an Xbox One fan.
I think he might be a little bit more than a fan.
Bias ain't even the word, like, at this point. That's cool, though. But I think they could have made a better move by dropping the price, the actual price with the Kinect. Maybe, like, not even that much, $30, $50, something like that. But I don't know. We'll see what happens next.
Gary, what do you think? I mean, you don't have an Xbox One. Is this going to push you now to get one?
I'm waiting to see what they come with at E3, but yeah, it's definitely, it's definitely sparked my interest a little bit more. But the thing is, in the UK, the Xbox One has already, for the past couple months, been heavily discounted because retailers are trying to get rid of them because they got so many of them. And the price that they've dropped it to is actually is still higher than what it was discounted to. So I mean, we're either going to get some really good deals over here, or it's just going to be like a standard price that it already was, when they started discounting it. So I think we're gonna see some good deals. I think. So
Does that mean you're gonna get one?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see the lineup at E3, see what games they come with, and once I see that, then I might definitely get one.
But haven't they already shown enough games to spark your interest?
Not for me.
I mean, what else do you want?
Not for me personally. I mean, maybe for some, but I haven't seen enough of Quantum Break and Sunset Overdrive.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen much of PlayStation 4 titles in the future, and you bought that.
We haven't seen enough.
We've seen less of PS4 games than Xbox One games.
But let me explain something though. Like I'm actually at the moment, I'm dissatisfied with PS4 because I bought a PS4 and I don't feel like there's enough software for it. So it's not like even though I prefer PlayStation as a brand, I'm not singling out Microsoft.
I mean, with the exception of Titanfall, there's really not much on Xbox either. So I don't think there's really a much difference.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as PlayStation, I just have more faith in them because I know what kind of IPs they have in the vault. Like,
Wait,
IPs like
wait,
Insomniacs,
see,
right?
here we go.
wait. You have more faith in Sony, the people that lied to you last generation? Where is The Last
what
of
do they like?
Us? Where is Final Fantasy Versus? What happened to PlayStation
That's
Home?
still coming out. That's
No,
rebranding.
no, it was meant to be an exclusive. It was meant to be out last generation. The Last of Us. So how can you say you have more faith in them when they lied to you? They didn't bring you the stuff they
Oh,
told you they
so
was going to
Microsoft
bring.
never lied, no?
They've never lied.
Okay,
Microsoft never
so
lied to us.
last year they made it clear that they was never ever gonna offer a Kinect-less Xbox One. What's happening now?
It hasn't come out yet. It has not come out
It's
yet. It
what
hasn't come out
they
yet.
made the announcement for it.
They made the announcement, like Sony made the announcement for the Last of Us on PS3 and
Are you,
Final
are you
Fantasy
talking about The
Versus.
Last Guardian or
Yeah,
The Last of Us?
no, The Last Guardian. That's it, yeah, The Last Guardian. Yeah, and the announcement they made for Final Fantasy Versus 13 on the PS3, and that still hasn't come. So things can change. Because they're making a Kinect-less Xbox, they announced it now. Doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. Until
Yeah,
I
you
see
know
it in
what?
the
You
store,
know what?
then
You
I'll
have a
believe it.
really good point because Microsoft has a really good track record for doing a complete 180 on all their stuff. So you're right. They could just retcon that, right?
I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying. If you want to go with those facts, that's cool. But to jump off what Gary said, you bought both of these consoles off the potential because neither one of them had really outstanding exclusives to me. And I don't own either one of them right now, but I'm leaning more towards the PS4. The whole drop, the price drop or whatever, really did nothing for me as far as Xbox goes. But I do want to see what games they come out with. You know, they announce for E3. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm not afraid to admit, I just have more brand loyalty to the PlayStation brand because they provided me with value as a gamer in the past. So, I'm loyal to that brand.
Right.
That's just the way it is for me.
Yeah.
Alright, that's the wrong side of the loyalty. But whatever.
Is Icon back? You like Icon?
Nah,
Icon
he
ain't
got
back.
deaded by Kieran. But Rich, you've been kind of quiet. What do you think of this whole Kinect-less Xbox? I mean, me and you own an Xbox One. Did you kind of in your head think like, "Fuck, I wish I should have waited"?
No, I do not regret my Xbox One purchase, and I do not regret my PS4 purchase either. Unlike some other people in this call, I already know it's about what's ahead, so I'm not going to judge too harshly based on how everything turned out in the very beginning. But I will say this: it was good that they made the announcement before E3 because now I'm expecting them to announce nothing but games at the show. I don't want to hear about this price point again. Maybe you can throw it in at the end as a reminder to people at the end of the presentation, but I'm expecting to hear nothing but game announcements now at E3. That's it. No executives talking about anything else. Talk about what's coming to the system.
Yeah, Anthony, what do you think of this of them making the announcement prior to E3? Because
Uh,
this would have been like a big thing if they did it at the show.
I mean, I sort of agree with Rich, man. It comes down to them trying to, Phil Spencer has been saying for the longest that E3 was games, 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 and now them releasing this stuff out before, E3 just means that he's holding true to his word that he's trying to get all this news out so that the focus could be all about games. But then again, it makes me think like these aren't small announcements, right? These are pretty E3 worthy stuff like Sunset Overdrive. We're going to talk about that later. And then you got these announcements that's kind of coming out. These are usually things that people, that Microsoft would typically save for the E3 stage. So it makes me wonder what exactly do they have to talk about during their 90-minute conference? What exactly do they have to show? And honestly, with all this stuff that's happening beforehand, a lot of gamers are expecting to be blown away. So Microsoft has some really, really, really high expectations. They didn't have it at first. I swore, before I was like, yeah, man, they kind of got low expectations for me. But now they risen completely with all this stuff that's happening. Now it's like everybody's wondering what the hell do they have to show, you know? So
Kieran looks like he has a lot to say. So, Kieran,
You know what? The Connect look Xbox, I think, is a bad idea because the Xbox was not selling badly. PS4 was doing much better, but it still had great sales. It was still good. They did not have to do this. People were still buying this Xbox that I bought last week, this today, and they're still buying it. All they want to do is be ahead of Sony. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have more Call of Duty players, more Grand Theft Auto players, more multi-platform games with good online are gonna be on the Xbox. So why in hell do they need a connected Xbox to sell more? All those people that are bragging about price are the same people that went out and bought a PlayStation 3 for £600. So I don't know where they're going. It's them idiots that know the gaming is on the Xbox and they're just complaining. It's them. It's not the Xbox users. It's them. So they should not have backed down. But I do agree with but I do love what Microsoft is doing with the new gold stuff, which we'll probably get on later. But this decision was the worst of all week. I just hate it, man, because Connect is everything, man. I walk in the room, Xbox on, Xbox off, Xbox select. I don't even need to use a controller like on or a move stick, whatever that thing was last gen, to move around the thing. I just have to use my mouth, and it all works, and it's good, as you can see.
oh, you have to use your mouth.
Yeah, like
Pause.
well, I speak, so you know.
Alright. You could you said the word voice.